Months ago, Brent was listening to a radio program where someone said it didn't matter who a person was now, they're unforgivable because of what they once said or did. This echoed many similar thoughts common to our media in the past few years. Today's hashtag activism is willing to condemn, and forever reject people, for something they only may have done decades earlier. Brent MacDonald is a pastor, teacher, and Bible researcher with a focus on biblical archaeology and the historical authenticity of Bible events. He's passionate about history and the lessons it teaches, especially the ancient truth God provided us in the Bible. This is why he and his wife regularly spend time in on-site research in the Bible lands. In fact, he has a museum full of historical artifacts and cultural illustrations to teach these principles to children, teens, and adults. From God's Word, Brent believes no one is unforgivable.
Yes, that includes even shamelessly wicked people who once openly flaunted their evil intents and actions.
Listening to that radio program, Brent immediately thought of many individuals recorded in history that were once horrible people, yet God graciously saved and changed them. Some were murderers, racists, sexual predators, terrorists, human traffickers, and worse.
He understood God has saved incredibly wicked people from many lands throughout history.
Not only does God call his church to forgive, even as he has forgiven them, he calls his church to accept these repentant brothers and sisters.
How can the church not forgive? How can you not forgive? These men and women are now part of God's eternal redeemed people.
Brent is also the longtime executive director of Cottage Cove Urban Ministries in Nashville,
a ministry helping at-risk children and youth to rise above their circumstances and thrive.
The heart of this ministry is that God's message of forgiveness and acceptance includes the least of these.
It's also for their parents and relatives, no matter what they've said or done.
It's easy to say you believe this, but what would you do if the worst person you can think of suddenly professes faith in Jesus Christ and shows up at your church or small group? Would you welcome them and encourage them? Ask yourself that same question as you read about 15 once horrible people in Brent's book, Forever Unforgivable.
He guarantees you will want to get to know these people.
By God's grace, if you're a believer in Jesus Christ, you will be spending eternity with them.